Well, hi, neighbor. I picked up some apples from the market this morning. I thought I'd share some fruits of my labor. So how are you two lovebirds doing on this wonderful day in Westview? You know, I heard the craziest story about you two cool cats on the bus ride to the market this morning. Oh, something about a magic show? What was that all about?
Isabella, can you hear me? Isabella.
Oh, looks like I gotta get the heck out of here and back to hosting Real Reactions. Oh, y'all should tune into next week's episode. It's gonna be a gas. Welcome back to this week's episode of Real Reactions. I'm your host, Isabella, and if it isn't obvious already, today we're covering the highly acclaimed new Disney Plus series, WandaVision. Okay, also, spoiler alert, so we all cried with Wanda, obviously, when Vision died in Avengers Infinity War. Right? Well, wrong, because looks like our girl Wanda might have actually come up with a solution for that. So in WandaVision, we find ourselves in the utopian town of Westview, following the lives of Wanda, Vision, and some incredibly strange neighbors. So let's channel our inner Jimmy Woo and get to the bottom of the mysteries of Westview.
Heavenly shades of night are falling. It's twilight time.
Wanda and Vision, aren't we a five-pair?
This is our home now. I want us to fit in.
Oh, this is gonna be a gas!
Where did you two move from? How long have you been married? And why don't you have children yet?
Our story.
I think what my wife means to say is that we moved from...
Moved from where? Married when? Damn it, why?
Oh, Arthur, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
So welcome everyone. Let's talk WandaVision. Okay, let's talk about the dinner scene in the very first episode. Do we think it has some greater significance? I mean, Wanda breaks character. What was that all about?
I think that all of it is just a large mystery, and I think that's the appeal. I think everything sort of has some significance, but I think that dinner scene does definitely have some significance. Everyone in their town always is acting a little off. It's kind of like the Truman Show. So I think everyone's involved.
Yeah, I was gonna say it reminded me of the Truman Show. Also, it's like everyone's like so secretive. I thought the dinner scene was like I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be satirical at first, because I was like, when he was like making fun of his job and he's like, what do we actually do here? Like, yeah, but like, what are these papers for? I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I get the joke. But like when the boss's wife like didn't help him like stop choking, I was like, is this supposed to be like a bit, like, or is this like, and then like when things keep starting to happen, I'm like, okay, like this is less, I feel like this is more just like trying to be as mysterious, I guess, as possible.
Yeah, I thought it was cool how the tone changed when that dinner scene happened, because before you definitely are getting the vibes of like Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie and stuff like that. And then definitely I'm a big Twilight Zone fan. And once the dinner scene kind of started, I definitely got like the Twilight Zone vibes, like when he was choking on his meal and no one was helping him and stuff. Like, I feel like it switched from that like, oh, this is a cute sitcom to like, oh, something really creepy and weird is happening. Like, I half expected them to pan over to Rod Serling, you know, like, so I feel like I thought that was really cool how they kind of were able to switch the vibe, but in a way that was still classic to the TV show era that they wanted to go for. So I thought that was really cool.
So how do we feel about Agnes? Is she evil? Is she being helpful? What's the deal with her? What do we think?
She's just a nosy neighbor, honestly. Because what show was it? I don't think it was was it Bewitched again? I forget. I think maybe it's just a common name. But there's like a lot of nosy neighbors named Agnes, that they always kind of play not a villain nor like a person to help. They're kind of like a neutral person, right? Like they're the one that knows all the info and kind of feeds the info and gossip to people.
I thought it was a character that was like kind of needed, or maybe not needed, but I feel like that type of character in that time period is always there. Like you always have the nosy neighbor who comes into your house when you don't want her to come in, who just stays for too long, you know. So I feel like for that time period, maybe it was necessary to have someone like that. Just like they have, you know, the commercials. So I feel like kind of to make it relevant to the time period, you needed that one nosy neighbor who would never shut up, you know, and always be there.
So what are some theories you guys have about the commercials? Because first of all, brilliant that they have their own commercials in this, but also it's always the same two people. So what are we thinking with that?
Also, it says for the commercials, it says Hydra. There's a Hydra sign, and then it also said Hydra in small letters. And if anyone is a real nerd, and I'm kidding, but Hydra is it was like a Nazi sort of special division in like Captain America: The First Avenger, and they sort of came to the current day in the second Captain America movie. So that's very concerning if the commercials are Hydra, because that could mean that something not good is going on.
Yeah, I am one of those huge nerds that notice Hydra immediately. But I actually personally didn't even notice that the commercial only had the two same people, and I honestly didn't even notice that. But the commercials are enjoyable. If just out of the context of what does it mean, it's just so nice because it's the commercials of the era, and I appreciate how the show is going through the eras of sitcom and comedy television.
I think if you see the Hydra commercials, that I think either it might be the people in Hydra watching what's going on, and that's why they're creating the commercials, which seems basic, but for me it makes logical sense, because why have that specific commercial if it was just regular agents, right? So I feel like they have to have some type of relation to them.
So what do we think SWORD has to do with Westview? Because it comes up more than a few times. Should we trust them or no?
Maybe. I do know a little bit about SWORD from my years of being like the world's biggest comic nerd. But like I think what I think is happening, I think SWORD, the necklace she had, it's for some type of agency, and I feel like they are not bad. I think that they're trying to help Wanda remember, because she's stuck in this place, and I don't think it's a good place. Maybe it's run by bad people trying to exploit her powers. So I think it could be people trying to mess with her and Vision's powers, and SWORD is trying to get them out.
I was kind of confused about the guy that came out of, you know, the road, and then they went back into the house, and it like rewind, and I was like, I am so confused. Why did you just do that to me? And then it just went into the next episode, and I was like, what happened?
To make a point on that, I remember Wanda saying like no, like she knew who that guy was, right? So that makes me think Wanda knows what's going on, and either she's choosing to stay in that world because Vision is always questioning it. Like there's tiny hints, and that's why you see like rewinds, and when it gets rewind, he doesn't question it. Like he says something completely different, which makes Wanda happy, right? So that's why I think Vision doesn't know what's going on. So maybe Wanda has a hand in this some way or another.
Yeah, I definitely think that makes sense, especially with like the loss that she had been through with Vision already. You know, her wanting to protect her own little world would definitely not be surprising, you know, like as a reaction to all this grief and trauma that they have been through as Avengers. Like, I definitely think it wouldn't be shocking if she, you know, resorted to building this world for herself to keep each other safe.
Well, that being said, how do we think Wanda resurrected Vision, who should be dead because Thanos killed him in Infinity Wars? Is this the real Vision? Is this a figment of her imagination through her powers? Maybe is this like a vision from a parallel universe? What do we think? What are the theories?
I think with the idea that this is a false sense of reality, I think that's what it is. It's probably just imagining that Vision is there, and while he really isn't, or it could be figment of her imagination or something like that.
This is just, I guess, me thinking out loud. I don't know if it would be possible to take like someone's subconscious from like Ashes, because she's like a really powerful person, right? Like I feel like it might be cool to kind of make a zombie-esque figure of someone, so kind of like what's it called, like a gnome or something, that has the body and has the personality but zero memories. But in the first episode you saw that Vision was, you know, at the dinner scene when they're saying, oh wait, how did you guys meet, like all this stuff, like Vision doesn't know. I think Wanda knows, but Vision genuinely doesn't know. So I think maybe he's just like not Vision, it's more like a subconscious Vision thing.
And also, like, notice how Wanda reacted when Geraldine brought up Ultron. Like, she flipped. She just like completely changed 180. So that could be very true, that she's trying to just shield Vision from everything, which would make complete sense, because like what's the more like innocent reality than like a sitcom, especially an older sitcom.
Well, and also just like the way that he's portrayed, like he's like the total like perfect husband. Like he hasn't like gotten upset at her or angry at her. Like he's been very just kind of like on an even keel, and I feel like it could definitely be like the kind of Vision that she wants to see, or you know, like wants to be with, and not exactly reality, like almost a little bit too good to be true.
All right, thanks so much everyone for talking about WandaVision. This was so much fun, and I can't wait for everyone to watch all of the episodes so we can all be like, oh my gosh, this happened and that happened. Especially episode 7 is really good, so take note.
This is really happening.
Am I dead? No. Why would you think that?
Because you are. We are an unusual couple, you know.
Oh, I don't think that was ever in question.
I mean, living in a perfect suburban town with Wanda and Vision as your neighbor, that sounds amazing, right? But to what end? Well, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Real Reactions. Although our reactions may be a little ridiculous and a little bit racy, they're always real.